Hello, my name is Brittany Deigh. I am a psychic medium and spiritual teacher. My divine purpose is to assist in the expansion of the collective consciousness and to help you become more connected with the divine. This is a space to remember all that you truly are and ignite the possibilities of your highest potential. Hello, and welcome back for another episode of the Addicted Household Recovery. Guys, you're just gonna have to bear with me here because this is just, there's part of me that is coping with just laughing at it because I'm like, wow, really? Like, this is really how denial works. This is really how people just bypass. I don't even understand how it's possible. Because I just can't bring myself to do it, but I also do it unconsciously. So I'm like also trying to soften and be understanding and not belittle and not laugh at people and their healing process. But I'm also trying to empathize with myself and my little girl, you know, within me that deserves a real true amends. And that's why this episode is called, Oh, You Got a Bullshit Amends Too? Because I feel like this is so common in the freaking recovery process, in AA, in the steps, you know, it's like people just try and bypass true healing and bypass like actually doing real amends. Like not just like, hey, this is like this thing that I have to do. I'm going to call you up and say like, my bad for treating you like shit for years. Like, what? No, that's not an actual amends. That's not a true apology. A true apology is acknowledging the actions that you've done, acknowledging and empathizing with the suffering that has created, having a true heart-to-heart, empathetic, compassion, emotion for that person, and then asking for forgiveness, you know, and what can I do to make this better? What can I do to amend this situation? And, you know, I've experienced it myself, and I've also seen it in other people's recovery journeys where they just kind of breeze past this step. They're just like, I'll like kind of acknowledge this, but like, if you really want to get into it, I don't really know if I want to go there, you know? And that's where this is like one of the most important parts of the recovery process is to acknowledge and be accountable to your actions for the damage that you've done and the suffering that you've caused, or otherwise, deep down, that shit is haunting you for the rest of your life. You're always waiting. You're living in fear. You're always waiting for it to be held over your head. You're always waiting for it to be brought up. You're always waiting for it to come back, whether it's karmically through someone else or whether it's through this person or whatever it is. You're always on edge, looking over your shoulder, waiting for this to come haunt you and to come back and resurface. And yeah, I'm like, why would you want to bypass the most important part of the process? Well, maybe surrendering yourself to God is the most important part and giving your will over. But then like the second like most important part of like truly healing and like true recovery is to amend the damage, is to, you know, really and truly go through take responsibility and be accountable to what you have done. And, you know, I experienced an amends that it was like, what do I have to do to get you to get over this? And it's like, yo, that's not an apology. Like, that's not you. Someone who is truly sorry, who has truly empathized and understand the suffering that their actions created, they come humbly. They come with an open heart. They come really and truly with a will to make changes and then take actions following that that change, that they are affirming that change through their actions following. If they just keep perpetuating and doing the same thing over and over again, even after a quote unquote amends, that's not an amends either. If you just keep perpetuating the same behavior, then you were never truly sorry, or otherwise you would change your behavior. So it's so interesting to me how an amends can be totally diverted. Like you can just like totally jump around it and pretend to yourself, right? This is where the denial comes in, and the just suppression and really not actually doing the true recovery and really not actually doing the true healing comes in, is that it's like people can convince themselves that they have amended, even though they dodged it, right? A true amends, they really dodged it, and then say, oh, well, they're just not accepting my apology. So that's just is what it wasn't a true apology, yo. Like a true apology has steps and stages to the process, and both parties are no longer worried about that same cycle perpetuating and coming up again, because it's been dealt with and it's been put to rest. It's been fully addressed. And whenever you try and dodge it, both parties are still feeling that tension. Both parties, whether you want to pretend like you're not and you want to suppress it and pretend like you don't feel that way deep down inside, even if, here's the thing about why it's so important to really, truly do a thorough amends, is because even if it doesn't come back with that specific person, it will come back, because it's an energy that's existing in your being. Or if you're trying to suppress it and just keep pushing it down every time it does come back, even if it comes back through a different person or a coworker or whatever it is, then you will literally start to build physical ailments. Your body will start reacting. Your body will start breaking down from all of this emotional debris that's stuck in the body, because you're not actually releasing it. You're not actually addressing it. You're not letting it truly go. And, as I say that, I find it really interesting, because this person that I received this amends from keeps telling me that I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go. You just want to stay in the past. You're not. I'm like, dude, it never, you can't let something go that was never addressed. That's not even possible. Like, that's not, you can say, and you can lie to yourself all day long and say, we just let this go, just let it go, just let it go. But if it wasn't actually dealt with, then it's the energy. This is a spiritual illness, guys. This is energetic dynamics. The energy is still existing in the frequency of that person. And maybe the other person, because I want to affirm this to you, and just so that you remember what your power is, you do not need anyone for your healing. You don't even need a therapist. You don't need a coach. You don't need a nothing. All you need is you and God. And then maybe laying in bed and going into meditation. But truly, all you really need is God. You do not need anyone for your healing process at all. So let's just get that clear. That person, so like, let's say for example, me, somebody that hurt me, somebody that created suffering, they either put their hands on me, or they stole from me, or they betrayed me, or they emotionally manipulated me, or whatever it was. And I can go on with my life and release that and say, I'm moving on with my life. I'm moving on from you. I'm letting it go. But that person is still, that energy is still existing in that person until they go to God and truly ask for amends and truly deal with the situation. So you can not do it with the person if you don't want to, but more than likely, I would hope that person would take care of themselves and not have you in their lives, because that's not how you apologize to somebody. If God forgives you for wrongdoings that you never actually asked for true accountability for, it's not even possible. Like, that's where the denial gets you, because if you don't even know what you're denying, then you can't ask God for true forgiveness around this, whether that person is able to forgive you or not. if you're lying to yourself and telling yourself that I am sorry for these things, but you're not truly sorry, or otherwise that would be represented in your behavior. That would be represented in the changed behavior that comes after asking either this person or God for forgiveness. But if you're perpetuating the behavior, then you never realized what that behavior caused. So you can't take it, or you never realize what that behavior is doing in your life. You're still blind to it. You're still unconscious to it. So you can't take it to God. You can't take it to anybody if you're lying to yourself about it. I hope that makes sense to you guys, because you deserve a true amends and an apology. And if you don't get that from the person that has caused suffering, or the person that has hurt you, or the person that has betrayed you, or took their, addictions or whatever it is out on you, then I would really be mindful and discerning about how you interact with that person. And then 2, the things that you have done, right? Because we have our part and our responsibility in the codependent dynamic, in the addiction, in our illness. And so the things that if someone is still saying that there is a problem, I really highly recommend that you use that as an opportunity to say, maybe I am blind to something. Maybe I'm not seeing something. And this is an opportunity for me to dig deeper. Maybe there is still a character defect that I need to take to God. Even if I don't deal with this person, pray. If you don't want to deal with that person, pray and say, ask God if there's a character defect. Ask God if there's something that needs to be healed here, if there's something that still needs to be addressed here. Because it's that fine line of someone continuously not accepting your true apology, right? And continuing to just project their hurt and wounds on you. And then there's also the spiritual bypassing, and someone really the simplest way of saying is kind of navigating around and kind of maneuvering around what a true amends is. A true amends is not coming to somebody saying, I have to do this. This is something I have to check off my list. A true amends is an apology. It's an acknowledgement. It's empathetic. It's compassion. It's putting yourself in that person's shoes, and it's asking for forgiveness, and also asking God for forgiveness. So, and there's a lot of people that I have to apologize for my illness, and it's a long journey, and you just kind of chip away at it as you can, as it comes up. But just know that every time that someone reflects to you and says, either I don't really feel like you're sorry, these behaviors are still continuing, or I'm really unhappy with what happened at this time, it's an opportunity for you to look at a possible character defect and really assess with yourself, and either make amends with that person or make amends with God for this behavior, and then change the behavior moving forward. So just a reminder that you deserve a true amends, a real, true, empathetic, compassionate apology, and ask for forgiveness. You deserve to give other people a true amends, to ask for forgiveness, and to be able to let go and move on with your life. And you deserve for all these things that this illness, that this codependency has created in your life, to really be put to rest, to really actually truly and thoroughly address them, and not have to go back to that place, to actually and truly let it go. You have that power, I promise. And yeah, just don't settle, man. Don't settle for a bullshit amends. Don't settle for a bullshit apology. And I'm still forgiving myself for, settling for just word vomit and not a true empathetic. I thought it was, but it was like I was still in that, being manipulated and being like coerced into not truth, because I genuinely thought, okay, if this is what needs to happen, and then you'll change your behavior and you'll treat me differently in the future, and we can have a whole new relationship, I'm down with that. We don't even have to go down the rabbit hole, right? Like I was like, I'm cool with I'll release that shit in my own time, but I want to have a changed behavior. I want to have a different relationship moving forward. And then whenever I didn't receive that, it was like, okay, now I see that wasn't a true apology. That was utter bullshit flying out of your mouth, or otherwise the changed behavior would have actually locked in. So just be really aware and be aware of yourself. And are you changing your behavior? Are you doing in your amends process and what you're giving? Are you really and truly making the changes and the efforts to recover that relationship and to make good, as the best way it's coming to me, make good from what you did and from how this illness has poured onto other people in your reality. So not as much laughing as I thought. a lot poured through there. I hope that was helpful for you guys. And just know that if you received a bullshit, amends, a bullshit apology that from someone that's not truly sorry, they're likely just still playing a victim to their story. And it's really not personal. I know that that's hard to hear and that's hard to accept, but they are just still feeling a victim to God. They're still feeling a victim to their illness. And so it's hard to really feel sorry for something that you felt like you didn't have control over, and you were a victim to. So I'm sure that if you can empathize with them and put yourself in their shoes, then you know what it's like, because you've had places where you've been blinded, unconscious, and in denial as well with your addiction. So I love you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that episode. Please subscribe, leave a review, and if this was impactful for you at all, please share it with others. This is how we can help each other. Much love and namaste.